Okay, so now I want to build a dashboard. So I'm going to go up to dashboard at the top and select new dashboard. And now a different screen pops up. So we were working with worksheets before, but now we're working with dashboards. So the screen looks a little bit different. On the far left side, we have the names of all the sheets that we have generated throughout today's workshop. Just above that is a size box, and I actually want to adjust the size of this dashboard. Rather than having it be a fixed size, I want to make it an automatic size. So it will just automatically scale based on the screen that we're on. Okay, one of the things that I want to add to this dashboard is that crazy cool map that we made. I have it labeled Facility Emissions Map. Now I want to click and drag that sheet and add it to the dashboard. So right now it looks kind of like a carbon copy of that worksheet. Nothing too interesting here. But what we can do is start dragging other sheets onto this as well. So I'm going to drag this industry emissions bar chart. I'm going to drag that to the lower half of the map, and I'll let go, and that will position the bar chart on the lower half of the dashboard. Finally, I'm going to grab that efficiency trends graph that we just made, and I'm going to drag that to the right side of this bar chart. So now we have this map of CO2 emission facilities, a bar chart that says average emissions for different industries, and this efficiency trend for all these different power plants. And one thing that I kind of want to do is if I were to click on one of these bars, I want the map to update based on what I click. And we can do that fairly easily. So when I have clicked on this bar chart, it's outlined in a dark gray box. And on the right side of this box is this little, I don't know, couple little icons. And I want to select this use as filter icon, and it looks like a filter. And that tells Tableau that I want to use a selection on this chart to filter all the other charts on this dashboard. So when I click through the different industry emission bars, I click through the different, it updates the map and the chart to the left of what's going on. So we can also use the other graphs as filters for everything too. So I just clicked on this efficiency trends chart, and I want to click that use this filter button. So I'll click that. I'm going to select the map, and I'm also going to use the map as a filter. So now if I click a specific power plant on the map, it will filter the bar charts and it will filter the efficiency trends charts based on that selection. So that's pretty cool. I'd also click and drag. So say I want to select, I don't know, all of those facilities. It will again update these two bottom charts, what's going on there. One of the things that would be nice is if these legend entries also worked on the bar chart and the efficiency trends chart. Right now, if I select, say, the Northwest, that does not update these two charts on the bottom. But there's a way to change that. And to change that, I need to go back to the worksheet of the map. So I'm going to go back to the facility emissions map. And on this region's legend entry, I'm going to click the drop-down arrow. And I want to apply to worksheets, all worksheets using this data source. So I'm clicking on that region's legend entry, and I'm saying I want to apply this legend to all worksheets using this data source. And I'm going to do the same thing for the state entry and for the industry entry as well. So now if I go back to the dashboard and I click through specific regions, it will adjust that bar chart and that scatter plot based on these selections. Same thing for industry groups. Okay, so that's a very basic overview of dashboards. We're going a lot faster than we did last section, which is great because I'm losing my voice. So that's cool. There are a few items that I want to talk about as we're wrapping up this workshop, and then we can all be done early, which is super exciting because it's Friday, and I'm going to go straight to bed. So one of the things that I want to talk about is how do you export data that you've generated in Tableau, and how do you export figures? So say I want to, this is a good one. Say I want to export this figure. I'm going to go up to worksheet at the top, and I want to export, and I want to export an image of this. Now Tableau asks, what about the image do I want to save? I want to save the view. I don't care about a caption. I care about the color legend, and I don't care about the title. So I can save this figure, and I can save it wherever I want to. So that's just a simple way of how do you get PNG files, how do you get these images out of Tableau. Now within this graph, the industry groups bar chart. These industry groups we generated, and going back to the CSV and figuring out the average emissions for each of these industry groups would be really tough if we needed the raw data. But there's an easy way to export the data, and in this case, I want to go to worksheet, copy, and copy the data. So now I can go into a random Excel file, and I can just paste the data, and it shows all the data that is just within that view. So in this case, it's all the industry groups and their average reported CO2 emissions. We can do that on a more complex figure like this. Again, worksheet, copy the data for the 5D ridiculous graph. And we can paste that into an Excel file. So now we have industry groups, regions, average methane, average reported CO2 emissions, and number of records. So these are our 5 dimensions that we are graphing on that 5D chart. So, I mean, Tableau is great for visualizations, but also if you need to do a lot of data consolidation, like you can do that visually in Tableau and then re-export that data to get this more simplified data set, more aggregated data set. I use Tableau for that all the time. Just like, man, this data set's too detailed, give me an aggregated version, throw it in Tableau, create a graph, and then export the data, and I'm set, I'm good to go. So that's a really useful aspect of this thing. Another thing that I want to talk about is what's called, let's see, how do I get to this? Should have pulled this up before the thing. That's okay. So real quick, I'm going to detour to my research group website. And you can actually embed Tableau dashboards onto a website. You can have these hosted on the web. And the way that you do that is through in this case, it's through a service called Tableau Public. The Tableau Public is a public online server that hosts Tableau dashboards. And I do this all the time with dashboards that I'm creating for my advisor. I will generate a dashboard and I will send it, I will post it online on Tableau Public, and then I'll send a link to my advisor so that, because he doesn't have Tableau. So this is a way to share data with people who don't have Tableau. So take this dashboard, for instance. This is a map of coal power plants as red dots and coal mines as yellow dots. And it shows transactions between the mines and the power plants. And on the right side, we have a list of power plants. Like you can click on a specific power plant and it will filter everything else. So like all of this is just online on a Tableau server somewhere, and anyone can access this. The caveat to Tableau Public is that it is public. So anyone can just click on this button at the bottom and can download the data or the workbook or anything like that. So anything that is posted to Tableau Public, anyone can download and can get at the underlying data. If you have confidentiality issues with that, you'd have to buy your own Tableau server, which is like $300,000 or something ridiculous. So that's an issue. Yeah.
Hey, actually, I just found out about it last week. They actually have Tableau online now for $70 a month, and it's a secure server. So they basically made a secure version of it.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, yeah.
$70 a month for the server access, and then you have to do the desktop version, which is another license agreement, which is $42 a year.
Yeah.
So for about $1,500 a month a year, you can, instead of paying like 10 grand for servers.
Yeah, Tableau's expensive. They're making bank. Yeah, I mean this is an option for sharing workbooks. What else was there? The data that we used in today's workshop was all perfectly cleaned and like perfectly set up for use in Tableau. Tableau requires data to be in long data format, it's called, where every column is a specific dimension, and every line item is a unique piece of data, basically. Okay, so long data format is different than wide data format. Say I have yearly data for some indicator. The indicator X. Maybe I have data on this indicator for 2014 and 2015 and 2016. And maybe I have indicator Y. This is wide data format because all of these years are separate columns, but all of these are a single dimension. It should all be years. So the way that this wide data format should be laid out is like this. That makes sense. And if you have any issues, like you think, Tableau isn't quite working the way that you would expect, it's probably an issue with the way that your data is formatted. So that's something to check. And if you go to that initial website for this, there's I uploaded a lot of articles about data cleaning and how to get data in the right format for Tableau to use. So that's available to you. Tableau, everyone else has questions about it, so there's a lot of articles online for how to do things. And if you need help, you can just Google. Tableau also has a lot of really good tutorials on their own website. So that's another option. So with all that, I think I'm basically done for today. And we're out half an hour early. Nobody had any crazy questions or crazy problems, which is great.
Not really related to Tableau, but just the data. I was curious why CO2 injection logs were the same emissions have to go? I thought they were sequestering it, but are they just failing to sequester it? What's happening? Am I not understanding?
No, I think that I don't have an answer for you. I think that you're understanding it correctly. What the data is saying is that these injection wells are emitting a lot of CO2.
Are they sequestering more than they're?
I would hope so. Yeah. Yeah. I'd have to go back to the original EPA data source to fully understand what's going on with these data in particular. I mean, I would still trust that injection wells work. Yeah, I wouldn't trust this data to make an opinion on injection wells specifically. Yeah. What's up?
Just another random question about with the fill type. You know, this one was WOC was the code.
Yep.
And there was one plant that was really high. I forget which one we're doing on it, but I think emissions. Right up there with a bunch of coal plants. Do you know what WOC is?
Yeah, give me 1 second.
I think it was when we were doing the plant generation.
So this is the list of,
Okay.
so WOC is waste coal.
Gotcha. So that's
Yeah.
Thanks.
Mhm.